So great to see you.
Same
How
here.
are you doing?
Same here. I'm doing fine. God is really kind right now. Although it's very difficult time for a humankind, but we all are trying our best at our end. We're doing fine.
I know it's very challenging. It's very challenging time for musicians. It's a challenging time for musicians who are essentially used to go out and social. I think musicians are the most social people out there, right? And having to be locked up at home, and especially the change happens when not everybody shares the same interest in your music as you're used to. Because as musicians, sometimes you tend to be moody. Or correct me if I'm wrong. That's probably the difference between professional musicians and
absolutely right. If we talk about Indian music, it's completely starts with the concept of time and space, and definitely a mood comes with time and space and emotions, and we are emotionally connected. And musicians are more emotionally connected to their content and to the virtue. Yes, we are emotionally more connected. Yes, definitely we have mood. Definitely we have we all have different mood types. And so does it work with our music also. It reflects in our work. It reflects in our craft, whatever research or music or whatever we perform. It reflects in our art.
Yeah, the internet on your end, sir, is very choppy.
So I went inside. Like I started very early with keyboard, electronic keyboard. Then I started guitar because I used to see my father teaching at my home. My father used to teach at home, so I used to see teaching and learning how things are taught, understood properly and the concepts. So I started without telling him. I took out his books and tried to understand on my own. It wasn't simple English, but I did grasp everything somehow. That it developed my continuation interest to know things. I was inquisitive. Yes, I wanted to know. There's a very interesting story behind the theory. My father was playing something which was not in the book, so it caught my attention. I was very curious to understand what chord my father was playing at that point. It was a soundtrack theme from a movie called Sholay. Okay, so my father was playing the opening theme from that music. Okay, and by R.D. Burman, composed by R.D. So that opening theme on the guitar, he was playing some chord which was not there in the book, and I had gone through all the major, minor chords, semi chords, and it was not there. And that got my attention. So after when my father finished the rehearsal, I took out the guitar and tried to place my little fingers. I was in fourth standard, I remember. Fourth standard. So I took out chords one by one. Suddenly I found, I was in
fourth standard.
Fourth standard. So, I remember.
Can I guess the song?
That song. There was an opening theme from a movie called Sholay. Okay. Okay. What I missed a chord called D sus4, a sus 4 chord. It was played in that song. So that was a beautiful experience, which actually pulled me to get into more understanding of guitar and theoretical concepts. So this was a starting point of mine.
Wow.
No, it's all to you.
And you didn't realize that since you would be the source of music for so many people going forward, like the great banyan tree of music as life progresses. You didn't know, you were in class 4, but you're being seeped into theory is so important because now if you look back, it's beat guitar, flute, ukulele, bass, keyboards, drums. Unless you have that strong theory inside you, you cannot be such a multi instrumentalist, vocalist, and then how music comes together in production, in mixing, in recording. All of that comes in handy, and it's very uncommon of having such a bias for theory at such a young age.
Again, I want to give this credit to my father. That's, my father had a band very early with our band.
Yeah.
And all the rehearsal used to happen at my place on the weekend. I was fortunate. I was in primary school that time, and whenever me and my brother used to come back home, and on the weekends when the band used to jam, after jam they used to take a break. So then me and my brother used to jump on the instrument and try to imitate what was band was playing at that part, or maybe what was the quickest, what was the most popular part they played, most funkiest part. So everything was available to us because drum kit was there, keyboard was there, guitar was connected, bass guitar was connected, singer, mic was everything. Everything was there at that moment. So we just needed an opportunity and we had it. So that was a moment, and that was a moment, and we had. So and we utilized that moment. Yes. So it gave me, and yes, the other leading part is that that also came from my father only because I saw him leading the band from very early time. So that gave me somehow gifted in this leadership, how to manage a band, what is a band leader's responsibility to prepare the chord chart for other people, and then understand the part. Like being a guitar player, like my father is a guitar player, so he used to sing the part for a singer and then making her or make him understand that this is the part, this is how the song will go. So he could sing that, and also explaining the drummer.
Your voice a little bit here.
Okay, is it okay now? Is it okay now?
No, it's a little dim. Maybe, yeah, because nothing changed. It's just your voice. I'm losing it a little bit.
Okay. Is it okay now?
I'm not using. You can speak directly to your phone. Maybe you can take this off and speak on speaker phone directly to your phone.
Then you get the ambient, everything out.
Okay.
You get a lot of disturbance, like fans going on there. Is it not clear right now at the moment?
I can't. Does anybody else hear? Oh, okay. Then it might just be.
Okay, thank you, Mohit.
So
Mohit Sen Gupta is here. One of my very dear students.
Sorry about that. Okay, great. Thanks for the feedback. This is what I love about live. You can have live feedback. It's just like
Mohit has just given that you can hear very loud and clear. Thank you, Mohit. He's studying sound engineering in Chicago. And he's an amazing guy, good music producer. He's inspiring the next generation. Yeah. So the arrangement part, that's what we learned. Yeah. And yes, after that, me and my brother, we had our own band from really long time, very early time. But I had my first band when I was in 10th standard. That was my first band. So I used to travel to Saket and and play with other people. So this is early, like how it started. So the band thing helped me a lot, working out parts for other. Like whenever I was working, like I took the responsibility for the person behind the band on the drum kit. Like I used to teach guitar from this long time. I was not initially a drummer for my band. To be honest,
you were not?
I was not a drummer for my band.
What was your
role? We had a drummer.
Then?
My role was to mentor my band, my brother's band. But we had a very good drummer called Oswaldo, like from Panama. But he left due to certain reasons. But after he left, then we wanted a same drummer, same energetic, a technical drummer, perhaps like who have all the things. But I couldn't find. I did the audition like 10, 15 people, but I couldn't like it. Then I took a responsibility to jump into the scene and work on the songs we really wanted the way we wanted to play. Right. So this is how, yeah, and that was year 1996. I think.
You switched to drums.
Yeah, this was 1996.
This is very interesting because you stepped up to fill a void. But was drums your true calling ever? Or you found out that drums were calling you and you were probably not listening to that voice?
Can't say like I still have affinity for guitar, electronics, and like when I produce music, I have more affection for bass guitar because it's very close to my instrument, drum kit. The bass guitar is the instrument that gives tone, which gives color to my playing, like for drumming. So they are very close right now, very close, locked instruments. Other people they are on the stage, they are heroes right now. They are facing the crowd, they are facing the limelight. Me and the bassist who are the one who block the groove. So I am personally, bass is very close to me. So I have more. Yeah, it is very very interesting.
Very interesting question.
Very low profile.
Yeah, there's a very interesting question from Mohit on how we should take theory into perspective.
Theory into perspective. Mohit has been studying theory quite often right now, very long time. Like I've been working with him on and off from the school days since his 11th and 10th standard. I was working with him. Wow. Yeah, so Mohit has gone far right now. He has done GCSE music. He has done a lot. He has done a lot. He studied a lot. Theory has to be done in a practice. In a way, right? In a schooling time, like we done in an order of workshop. We have workbooks in different levels. And then to understand, because most of the theory is written on the classical music, if you remember, like our classical, like our boards like ABRSM and Trinity College Music Theory. It's mostly written on the classical music. So if you're not listening to classical music, you're not studying, it's become little challenging for other people to understand theory. Especially I can understand being a drummer myself. My score doesn't go beyond 5 lines right now. I can write most complex music using only a few things. But if the same is compared to the guitar player or keyboard player, they have to study a lot. They have to study different arrangements, scales, keys, different arrangements. They have the entire range of music. They have to study dynamics, articulations, everything. So, in order to understand theory, one should really study the keyboard. At least electronic keyboard is must. Even if you are a drummer right now, it is must to understand a keyboard. Even a guitar player right now, Ankit has joined right now. Ankit is also one of the very good guitar players right now. He's doing very good in India. Right now they are quarantined. Hello, Ankit. So Mohit, go ahead. I know you are a new generation music producer. I really like your music. You make a really good music. I'm not fond of that music, to be honest. But yes, to apply concepts, I think in your kind of music, it's not required. I don't see there too much requirement in that. There is no calling in that kind of, But yes, you can make other people understand that music through help of theory. Theory is a bridge. Theory is a bridge between an instrument and your understanding. It's a concept. So if you want to understand that, that philosophy, then you need to have a theory. There's a bridge between you and the music. Right. All right. So, sir. Yeah. In fact, I was reading his comment, and that was, I never believed in buying a tuner for myself for some reason. I mean, I've never gone even to a very good amateur level, but I always believed in training my ear. I mean, nothing else matters. There you go. Your 4 strings are taken care of. Standard E tuning, and just if your inner ear is good enough, I mean that just helps you in so many ways. At least the standard part.
And when you're off key, nothing, there's something off. There's something, the vibe that gets generated, there's something off, and it's never the same.
Mm-hmm. It's like if you're practicing every day, then your ear gets to tune a certain particular note. Like if you're playing instrument every day, if you're practicing, if you are a very good, if you're a good musician, you should practice every day. So when you practice every day, you hear your note every day. You know how the perfect pitch is. So you remember how it's going to sound. And this is how you can go for perfect pitching. Then there are other ways to go ahead with, like then you go in intervals and here he goes next, like to find out the third, fifth, and octave. There are other ways, like when you tune a guitar, you know the notes right now on the guitar, like tuning guitar from D to A, and A to D, then again fifth, and D to G is again fifth, and G to B is again fifth, and then B to E. So this is how you tune the guitar. So I know, like the perfect tuning should have a perfect pitch. You must have ear training. I always stress on having a good ear training. And Rock School of Music has given a very good, a good database, good exercises for understanding the ear training, understanding the music through ear, not by eyes only, but through ear also.
Yeah. So
I agree, Mohit. I completely agree. One should follow music from heart. Music comes from heart. If you're making music from heart, you will connect with your audience, and your audience will not go inside the theoretical part of the music. They will enjoy it. Believe me, they will not ask you that if you have taken care of the cadence, if you have taken care of properly, resolving the melody or not. If you have made music from your heart, it will reach the heart. It will connect with the audience. So just make music with your original, real instinct from your heart. Don't make from the book.
So, what would you tell a group of friends who can play instruments, okay, and they want to start a band? How should they go about? Should they go about forming their own band and have things in order? Band sustain.
Forming a band needs a mindset. One should understand the mindset of your band. You should have a same mindset. If you understand your bandmate, if he also or she also listens to the same kind of music, then probably your bandmate can do justice with your band. Like I've seen right now, Cookie is here, and Ankit is here. They have a very successful band, right now, Third Eye, and they all understand each other. Mohit is here. Mohit used to have a band. So when you talk about band members should, it's not only living together. It's about actually understanding each other right now. When you understand each other, you understand. Chaz is also here. Hi, Chaz. And Chaz is from MI Hollywood right now. He's very inspiring, and I worked with him. Really enjoyed session. So, yeah, for band members, one should understand the bandmate right now. You should have a same side. Should have common goal, common pace, and basically understand and do justice to it. Like I said, I'm being a drummer myself right now. The most closest instrument I found is bass guitar. I always look up to the bass player. Is he really locking the groove? Is he really playing? So one needs to understand that. And this is what the understanding gave me right now to play with the Indian instruments also. Like how should I have a balance of having a loudest instrument drum kit and playing with a dynamically very soft tabla for a jazz setup in 2015 for a jazz utsav right now. That was a challenge for me right now. So I'm a very loud drummer, so, but technically I have to soften my playing more dynamically. From sticks I came to the rods and brushes. That was a simple transition of becoming softer technically. But then comes the playing. You need to understand the blah blah blah. I was playing with one of the greatest masters of India, like Rafiuddin Sabri. I was playing. He's one of the fastest tabla players in India. I was playing with him. So I need to understand with him and not to come over his playing right now. So dynamically I balance myself. Also, then we were playing with the sarangi, and Sharik was there on the tabla. And so Yeah, you need to understand your band member, whether it is a jazz song or a rock music or whatever Indian fusion. You need to understand your band. So bandmates should understand. Like I was not living with these band members, but used to jam together, listen to their kind of music, understand their you know understanding of me, and I used to communicate. You should talk. If you're not feeling good, you should talk to your bass player, talk to your tabla player, talk to your music. But this is not like how can we make it better right now? It's more sound good. So this is a better way right now. And understanding to make a successful band, you need to have a successful communication. So communicate with your band.
Yeah.
If you communicate well, you will have a successful band, and you can go on and on.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ankit.
True.
Ankit is. Thank you for giving me such a good compliment, Ankit. Actually, you guys are the angels, and you are the most hardworking people I've seen right now. The moment I joined your college and stayed with you for 3 and 4 years, and entire, the part of my college 4 years, I've seen you all. I've always seen you practicing, and only practicing, and dedicated your complete years to yourself. Your life. My best wishes to you. You will do well. Definitely, you will be a rock star. You guys will be a rock star. So, Anirban, how's your guitar going on right now? Your music going?
Oh, now you don't make me embarrassed in front of some very pro people, including yourself. I remember some of the basics, and this is the sensitivity. If I don't retain anything from you, all I retain is the sensitivity that you tried to pass on to me. I remember I had very simple requests. Okay, can you teach me how to play Coldplay? And then you told me, okay, if you go by the internet, it just gives you the chord A, B, C, D, but it has to be open chord because then you have a heart-to-heart connect with the feel of the song. So small things like that, and I really hold your hand like this while picking. So those things go a long way. If nothing else. I remember. I think it was my second day or third day. I said, "Nah, I'm not here to be in pro. I just want to enjoy a couple of songs." I reduced you to that level, to my level. Okay, imagine Amit sir being reduced to that level for requests like, "Okay, teach me Imagine." Okay, and he did that. He did that. He would go on and teach Joe Satriani with somebody more worthy, but for me it was Imagine.
I just interrupting in the middle right now. I remember we got connected because we had some common choice. That if you remember the person Ed Roland, remember the band?
Yeah.
Okay, so that Collective was the song. Yes, Collective Soul. This was the band. Like I was following. I was listening to this band day and night and continuously in a loop. I was listening to this band. And in our time, if you remember, we used to have tape. We used to buy tape.
Yeah.
So Collective Soul was the band like I was following, and they had this DVD live in Morocco, if you remember. Simple song.
Yeah. Oh God, don't. Yeah.
So this was the band actually. Actually, yeah. So Ed Roland was the character right now. He's also from Berkeley, and these both brothers they have studied music. They're very good engineers. They compose and they bring out sound and very good. I really love their composition. Really love their arrangement. Yeah. So this was the common taste we had, common band we like. So, and I remember you sang the song also in one of my gigs. Like you came and I gave you the mic in one of the gigs. You sang a song there. Yeah. Right?
You've always tried to boost in whatever way possible, sir. Remember, we did in a restaurant, some random restaurant, we did Robbie Williams song.
Yes, I remember. I remember. That was 2004. Okay, I remember. 2004 evening. It was a restaurant in Kailash Colony. Ego Cafe. I remember you sang a song like I was on the guitar.
Yeah.
Hello, Anurag is joining us.
So sir, I wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk about an entirely different part of your career, which is being involved in an institute and then investing all your time and resources in creating courses and going to such depths as documenting. That is not very musical. It's a lot of hard work, all the notations and all. That's how do you motivate yourself to do that?
I need some new resources. Yeah, definitely. It's a part of my regular work every day. We need to make everything understand. Our students should understand on each point of it. And you don't have one kind of student learning it. You have 10 different students in the class. So make him or her understand. You need to have at least 5 explanations to one topic right now. And I really plan and do my homework before going to the classroom if more of the time. So I used to teach in IB school. We used to prepare an entire unit and lesson planning, and there's a lot of enormous work to that. So I have been through a lot of training and through this IB school in the past right now. So they gave me a lot of organizational these etiquettes, so how to plan, learn, and keep on learning in a continuum. Learning is in a continuum. How to make it in a cyclic and keep exploring and advancing in thought. So I went till journey and then I found something to went ahead, and like books are endless. Books are there, but sometimes you need to collect all the explanation and bring to the classroom from somewhere this topic. If you're explaining a harmony, you go and find out a book from somewhere and mix and then explain the classroom. If you're explaining theory, you're teaching from other source. So there are a lot of resources there, but to collect all those resources, combine it and organize and then bring it in the classroom, it really helps and inspires the student a lot. So for that moment, because I have struggled myself as a student. Myself, I have struggled a lot right now. So I don't want my student to face like if I'm teaching anyone, I don't want him or her to face any challenge. I make them inquisitive. So it should come from there first. Like they should have interest to find out. But to have a clear picture and good understanding, I use multiple resources. I don't go on one book and make them explain and find out and go in chapter and यहाँ से पढ़ लो and read from this book, something like that. I never do that. So that's why I keep searching new explanation, new books every time. And this is the source of my, keep on going attitude right now. Also, doing something new and preparing a coursework or something, it really inspires me a lot. I really like to do new things, innovative. And especially this modern world has given a lot of access right now. I never had internet. Right now, we all have computers, everything in our hand right now. I remember when I started teaching late in 1994. I hardly used to have internet. I never heard of this. We used to have solid books, big books. In fact, we used to go to libraries, British High Commission, British Library, and we used to go somewhere, Macmillan, to understand. Then we used to go on Janpat, to find the books on the roadside and find any good materials to cut and make my own scrapbook. So this is.
I got your notation books, sir. I got the xeroxes of all your notation books. Theory, finger stretching exercises. Yeah.
Yeah, but there are a lot of it. Internet is full of resources, but the damage of having a lot of uncontrolled knowledge is there's a lot of damage also. Like everything is available on internet, but sometimes when a learner or student is there right now, they actually they don't know the right the balance of having they sometimes jump on the most exciting part of it. They miss the detail, lot of detail right now. I've seen a lot of youngsters these days. They completely jump on the songs and they want to miss those things, and those are required. Those are required because if if your foundation is strong, if you make a foundation strong, then you can really go ahead in life. Your theory will be just a piece of cake for you. Theory appears very boring. Theory of music appears very boring in the beginning. When I started, it was also boring for me. Believe me, because I was not studying. I was looking at the point of a drummer. Like, why should I know? Like, why should I learn after grade 5? It is not required. There's no harmony in the drumming. Why should I understand the harmony? But to understand the music, it's a wider term. It's a very broader, meaning to music. It's like this music means for me, like a mu SIC means a medium to understand intellectual and supernatural connect. Now there is that is music to me. There is an intellectual and supernatural connect. That is music, and that is what our understanding is. So we need to understand that what is that music. So yes, there are, and we should not miss the initial part of learning music. We should take it seriously. If there's a student who want to seriously pursue music as a career, even as a practitioner, one should have these kind of. Then your music becomes much wider. Your music will have a broader. It has a more beautiful part of it. You can go beyond four chords. You can go beyond. You can make a lot of things. You can bring a lot of colors to it. Your music will become lively. There are so many colors in music, so many words, moods. So if your theory is very strong, you can really apply and bring a lot of things. Also, theory helps understanding other music, not only classical music. Yeah. It helps you understand the other music. What was in his mind or her mind when they were composing this music? What kind of dynamics they have used? What kind of progressions they have used? Why they have used this kind of music? You can go deeply inside. Like this is how I teach music. I teach music with all these details right now. How this is how I find out like why he made certain music. What was the reason behind this music? And so that if you have a similar kind of mood, or if you want to compose a similar kind of music with similar dynamics, then that music will appear to be very easy. I remember uh, I started listening to John Coltrane very late, not very early, but the song very common song, Giant Step, by it's standard. That this interval they're playing in whole tone. So to understand this, you should know what's happening actually in the jazz music. Otherwise, you're completely lost. You will not be able to enjoy it. You should know the essence, the taste of it. If you want to enjoy this music, so if you're through the at least the initial part of theory, music will be so easier to understand. You will, of course, music doesn't have any language, but yes, the understanding should be there. So to the new generation, yes, go ahead in music and learn theoretically properly.
I remember I had just expressed a brief interest that my dad wanted to listen to some Indian tunes, some ragas on music, and you took the pain of explaining to me how scales are translated in Indian and how you can bring out the essence in a guitar. Unfortunately, I didn't stick around with it for much long, but yeah, I had very personalized experience with you. I mean, at no point I found myself pitted against somebody who's shredding on a Jackson and flying somewhere high on the orbit. I found it a very personalized experience at my level, which is what amazed me. And then immediately, probably the next student coming in had a Jackson sticking out of his backpack, probably. So one question with Amit, sir, talk to me about your new venture, the academy that you so passionately you're bringing about.
My new academy, which I'm trying to come up with, is called High Five right now. Okay, I've joined the High Five group of media studies group, and like it's been a few years right now. I'm teaching uh, music production is also it's a very popular topic these days, and also a rock school awards at London. They have come up with a beautiful syllabus. It's a proper graded syllabus from debut to A, an organized way of getting yourself appeared and certificate, getting a certificate in music production, and it's very convenient. Like, now these days they have online examination, and in an online examination, like one can sit at home and on the guidelines, one can compose the music, right, and give straight a screenshot and prepare the coursework, and the exam can be done in an hour time right now. So world has completely changed. This quarantine has given a new dimension to learning right now. I'm finding myself such a new, fresh right now. These 40 days has given me a completely new understanding of music assessment. You won't believe in our Indian music called, a Chalisa, Chilla right now. Chalis din when you spend something on one topic and you learn something. And this 40 days lockdown, I don't know why I'm connecting this, but it's very similar to 40 days. But it has given a new dimension to music assessment. We have seen how quarantine is given online assessment. I have done this with IB schools right now. I was the first one to do this breakthrough. That we pioneered this e-assessment in India with one of the IB school I was teaching there, and I also have never done it before, like how they will assess on e-assessment. So I did it, and since it's been 5 years right now. We're practicing now. Rock School has come up with a this rock music production course, which can be learned through online and can be assessed, and we can one can attain certain level and achieve a certificate also from rock, which is quite interesting right now. It's just not only music production. It has a lot of ear training. It has a stylistic awareness is there. Theory of music is there. Then study music producers are there. Such a colorful and a broader syllabus they have. And I have also already, and when it comes to me right now, how I teach it, like I really expanded a lot right now. If I'm explaining something about hip hop, I will completely go in the deep right now. That like the first grade music, where they have to explain about the hip hop and mix the bass line to it. So I start completely right now by understanding first. The very first thing is for listening in music. We need to listen a lot right now, so that we should have some expression of it. So when we have a listening, the first image, then there is explanation, and then third comes the analyze, then comes reconstruction of. This is how I've redefined the syllabus right now, and at my own, and I'm going to soon work it out, and I'm sharing with a lot of new students right now. Yeshu has joined. Yeshu has been really part of my journey. Yeshu, me and Yeshu have done a lot of gigs, especially traveled around India, and Yeshu, he's there right now. Yeah, Yeshu is in Gurgaon right now. He's an amazing vocal trainer, pianist, photographer, filmmaker. He's also very versatile. Even being one of the coolest people right now I know.
Is it the same part of the
Thank
brain?
You for joining.
All of this, it's probably the same part of the brain, right?
Yes. So the new training I'm giving, new course right now I'm giving, it's a mix of all these, combining all the important parts of music production. It's all about listening, observing, analyzing properly. A mix of whatever experience I've gone through IGCSE, IB education, Trinity College areas, and whatever I've gone through, or university level courses. Even there are multiple courses offered by Yale University or Berkeley College online courses, whatever you study. I'm combining it all and I'm teaching right now with all these approaches and so kind of making a universal musician soldier.
Yeah. You know what? I just wanted to underline what you just said about listening to music. In my brief experience, I haven't come across a course which outlines it so clearly, because music is everywhere. One of David Gilmour's last albums, "Rattle That Lock," the opening tune is actually the sound of the, in the railway station in Italy, or is it Italy or France? It's that sound that goes on before an announcement when they announce that the train. And we were in France in 2018, and we actually heard that sound. So it was so exciting. And imagine a musician, Gilmour, pick up that sound and create a song out of it. So it's so important that you tune your ear to just pick up music from air.
Sure. I want to bring it to instance right now. Like one of my band's old song in 2002, Breakaway, Nakshatra. We actually, Nakshatra, my band, we were using these elements in our song. Our song used to have a journey in. Like we used to have a movie dialogues in between our show, and the special elements like all these sounds you're saying. There were a child speaking a poem in the middle of in the concert, and there was sounds with like you're saying the cinematic sound we used. That was way back we used, and then Indian this chanting we used way back in 2000. We used it. Now the entire world is using it right now. I see everyone doing it. It's been 20 years. We have done it 20 years back. We have done.
Yeah, you never used the term fusion, but it was all there. I mean, and now I'm recalling all the next.
You won't believe we never had computers those days. So we used to have different tape sets at the mixer, desk right now. And we used to tell our one of our band member who was the engineer, who used to present on there, he used to play and the right tape and keep and according to the song. And like you've seen the rock concert, you see the techniques coming up right in time. So we used to have these special sound, fillers coming in right. And if you have attended my concert in 20 years back, you can recall this kind of element we used to have. If you were playing Pink Floyd, there was something happening behind it. There were helicopter sound actually was there. It was an actual helicopter sound was there. We use it. We were not just creating with any drum kit cymbals or anything. We were using the live sound. And there were a lot of other elements like.
You showed me the shortcut to helicopter.
So all these elements, they actually complete your story of the song. A song is a storytelling. The most effective composer is a most who can tell a good story. Like if you are a good storyteller, you can really write a good song. You can really make a good song if you're a good storyteller. And same way in music production also, it's like a storytelling. So your entire music is like a story you're telling in 5 minutes of time. In that time frame, you need to have all the emotions, all the elements coming.
Yeah, and on the other hand, some of the best songs are so simple. Maybe just a couple of chords, and it just creates an instant
connect. It has to be. This is the reason why Beatles are popular. They are universal because it reached the masses. If you're easy, you'll reach the masses. If you're easy, Beatles are. I'm not saying that they wrote very simple songs, but they did not make very complicated songs. And the band after Beatles I listen to is Rush, and I listen to it's completely contrast from the band. So if you want to reach the masses, one is to be very simple. Like in Kolkata right now, you are in baul music. It's played on a single string.
Yeah. Yes.
So the entire story, the idea is the focus is on the story, the word singing. If you're distracting them with the other instruments, then the whole message is defeated. So that's why baul music is actually a story. It's about communicating some message. So if one is singing with a single instrument, the support of a one note, so the whole attention is on the words, on the expression.
Yeah. Whatever you say, you are. But I think what you're talking about is sensitivity, and it's very difficult to train sensitivity. Is it?
But like all the teachers are, we are all global right now. We all believe in the international approach to it. There is a universal approach we are applying. The sensitivity comes when we make somebody aware of. So we need to expose a student to it. If you remember, like I took my students used to take them to Bangalore to watch the actual concerts by Scorpions, other bands being at. So I used to take my students, see this is the energy on the stage. And if you remember, we took people in those days. In our
went to GIR a couple of times.
Yeah, Great Indian Rock was it was definitely, it was easily available in Delhi. But I used to take my student to Bangalore. Like that was the only place all the concerts used to happen in those days. So I remember taking my students to Scorpion concert, or maybe to the Megadeth, or there was a concert which didn't happen, Metallica in Gurgaon. So you need to really take the students, show them the actual real experience.
Right.
My own.
That's my.
If I'm playing, then definitely all are welcome right now. They can definitely experience all those these dynamics. They can see. They're free to have.
That's my brother there. He suggests Bob Dylan in the series of simplistic and lyrical approach of the song. Yes. Bob Dylan is a great example.
Greatest example of being a rebel. He was thrown out of a society. So for not practicing music the way maybe did it in his own way for Dylan. That's why maybe that was another reason. If you see one of the guy in American Idol these days, Devashish is taking and Devesh is becoming very popular these days in American Idol. He's from Nepal. If you follow American Idol, yeah. So that singer also follows Bob Dylan.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean talking about Bob Dylan, we went to Shillong and there's an entire Bob Dylan cafe. So I think I put it up on Instagram. So there is a cool, like a two-storied graffiti of broken records on Bob Dylan, and everything that you touch or sit is a Bob Dylan. It's a whole museum of Bob Dylan. It's crazy.
Bob Dylan was an inspiration in our time. Most original music was written by Bob Dylan. Like he's the earliest example right now. I wasn't even born even that time. It was early. I had whatever I learned. I learned music listening to my father. If they were playing those songs of 1941, "Blowing in the Wind," and recently one of my friend Ravi is a vocalist for this band called Ravi Shankar Honey Collective. So he just recently did a new rendition of his "Blowing in the Wind." So most popular song, right? There's so many popular songs you can see by Bob Dylan.
People are having a good time engaging with you, and this is exactly why I intended to have this conversation.
I'm thankful to people around here.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I mean, if I'm allowed to say this on my own talk show, that I really wish young people to be in touch with you if anybody has any musical aspirations, because you're like the Baywatch. You're like the Baywatch. Yeah, the Baywatch guard out there. Because yeah, people, no, the Pamela, the rocks, who can who can salvage people when they are in the musical sea. People won't know because we have a very short attention span. Young people this day, so it's very difficult to reach the core, your own voice, and people get distracted. One day you think R&B is cool just because some dude on the stage is playing electric guitar. You think blues is cool. You don't even know the history of blues, and then you think R&B and hip hop is cool. You don't know the history of that. You don't know jazz. You're just flipping from one to the other. So it's very important for somebody to tie together and bring out the passion, and have that inward search to the real you and make that connect, which is what I found with you. And how can young people reach out to you if somebody has a passion? Okay, I want to pick up ukulele, okay, or I think I can sing. If I want to have a band, how can people reach out to you and start taking their baby steps and learn?
I'm easily available right now. These days online right now. I've recently kind of got over from my regular 9 to 6 job. I'm teaching online most of the time. Also have my own institute in Delhi, in South Delhi. It's called Hi-Fi. Hi-Fi, yes, sir, Hi-Fi. It's Hi-Fi Academy I've opened. Yes, there A88 is for the last time in South Delhi, and I'm easy on most of the time. I'm available online, Facebook and Instagram. I'm available, and yes, I'm easily available for any consultation, any understanding, any advice they want me to how to pursue music and how things to take further. Right now, even out of India, also I help a lot of people right now, for the correct advice for their children right now, whether to pursue music as a career or not, because I have gone through inside and out right now. I was recently I was part of a university. It was one of the first of the university in media studies. So, the university is a place where actually the final form of the life of a student is getting mature, and they are shaping right now someone who is going to face the real world right now. So this is what I have been associated for 4 years, and have kind of touched so many lives right now, around 317 lives, 370 lives I have touched, and I try to shape their future. And I hope I have done justice and helped them, and in any kind I have helped them, and I've given any my support, and also I'm right now also available for my support if they want anything further, and towards forming a band, or setting up a studio. Um, like my subjects are completely changed these days. I teach music business and entrepreneurship. I teach a lot of aesthetics in music. I teach a lot of history of music related to all kind of music. It's not only Western music I teach. Like I teach music means a complete music. I teach how to understand music. Yeah. So I'm available online, and my email is, you can flash, you can see in the bot. Maybe Anirban, you can help later on. So I'm easy available right
now. And if people are as lucky as I was when I was in Delhi, maybe have a walk with you and go to which was that place and buy a guitar. That was an inverted stock. Nuno Betancourt. Nuno Betancourt.
Uh-huh. And N2C.
Yeah. Remember?
N2C.
Yeah.
I remember one of my favorite guitar, and one of my old friends, Saurav, right now, he plays for a band called Parikrama. My very old friend and our manager, Sudhir Malik. And so he was a guy.
Thapa passed away.
Yeah, Sonam Sonam passed away. We are sorry right now that he lost. And I really want to mention a few of my more friends like Gautam Lahiri. We recently lost him. One of the oldest blues harp player and blues singer. My condolences to the family, and he was an amazing blues musician. So I was talking about Saurabh. He plays for Parikrama. He was the guy like first who got his N2C, and really excited me. The guitar was very good because I used to love Betancourt. Remember his fast picking and playing the Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee. We used to play in our time. So Nuno Betancourt, yes, that series N2C was great.
Black nail polish on his.
Oh yeah, I never had, but yeah, I tried once, but it doesn't suit me. I did not continue with that nail polish anymore right now.
Well, you got the hair back. Maybe you should try the nail polish.
Oh,
but you look more like James Hetfield.
This is permitted.
You look
right
more
now.
like Hetfield from 90s.
Oh yeah. Yes. Hetfield of 90s. Yeah, I just saw a Hetfield in an online concert, easiest few days back. He still has the same energy. So this is what something when you have love for it. Hetfield, it's been, I think he's been associated with music for 4 decades right now. And they still have that passion, they still have that. I remember I was playing in on the concert in Delhi. And Megadeth was also playing live in an arena next to us. We were playing in a different stage, and Megadeth was playing in some other stage. So that day I saw Megadeth live also. This guy Dave Mustaine has still the same energy right now.
Oh my God.
In 50s. So this is the kind of energy. Music takes you really long, and you become young forever. Music, if you're practicing music, listening to music, and age never looks on your face. No. You can go, night.
All right. The live will be ending, so Instagram has timed it exactly 1 hour. But it's been just a dream come true talking to you, sir. Exactly how I had imagined.